Hey kids, what time is it?
Time for Gezintahait Street.
It is time for Gezintahait Street. Are we on? Are we playing? What's going on?
Bezalel, tell the story first while I get my yarmulke out of my eyeballs.
Okay, something happened. The whole sound cut out there for a minute. The name of the story.
I couldn't see, and I because my yarmulke was on my eyeballs, and I accidentally pressed some button that made everything crazy.
Okay, good. I'm glad it was controllable. The name of the story is He Rode Upon His Horse. It said, when we got the Torah from Hashem on Mount Sinai, it says that he rode upon his horse, and from his chariot comes salvation. And the name of the story is He Rode Upon His Horse. And that's the horse that Mordechai rode on when Haman pulled him through the streets. It was the horse that the king rode on the day of his coronation. Now, when the Alter Rebbe was leaving Medrash, Abraham the Malach, the angel, the son of the Maggid, accompanied him to the wagon. The Malach said to the wagon driver, whip the horses until they don't know they're horses. Another version, whip them until they know they are horses. The Alter Rebbe said that he learned a new level of godly service from those words of the Malach, and he got off of the wagon. He decided not to leave Medrash. He got off of the wagon, and he stayed there for a long, extended time. Our Rebbe says that the first version of the story, whip them until they don't know their horses, refers to the service of working from down upwards. It encompasses an outpouring and nullification of the soul, a desire of the heart to be included in godliness, which is called a rotza. The second version, until they know their horses, refers to the service of drawing down godliness into the world, called shuv. The purpose of a horse is to be a horse, which is ridden. The horse on which the king rode on the day of his coronation, on which Haman led Mordechai to be the horse for the king of the universe, to bring Hashem completely into this world until it is the revealed dwelling for the Holy One, blessed be He. You guys want to do Utsu Etsu now? Or shall I give another part of the story?
We'll do the Utsuaitse. Let's go, Lee.
Utsu Etsu. Here we go.
Wait, Lord, where'd you go? There you are. Here we go.
Okay, Gimel Aleph. I didn't hear the take it away, boys, but that was a nice version of Utsu Etsu.
Yeah, the take it away, boys.
Now, I think I'll leave from his chariot came salvation to another time. And I'm going to go straight into the Hasidus for tonight. On Purim, next week is Purim, so we want to get prepared for Purim. On Purim, we reach the level of not knowing. Not knowing what? Not knowing the difference between curse Haman and bless Mordechai. And Jewish law says we accomplish it by drinking wine until we reach that level of not knowing. In Torah, there's wine. And when a person drinks the secrets, when a person drinks, his secrets come out. So too, the secrets of Torah are called the wine of Torah. Tonight, we're going to discuss some of the secrets to prepare for Purim next week. Our sages tell us that the main miracle in the Megillah is the letter that Esther, the queen, wrote to the sages of the Sanhedrin, telling them the story of Purim. And the main miracle in the Megillah is that on that night, King Achashverosh awoke from his sleep in the middle of the night. Two questions. Why did it happen on that night, that miracle? And what makes it such a big miracle that the king woke up? People wake up. Day in general indicates revelation. Night, on the other hand, indicates hiding and non-revelation. That night the king was sleeping, not just a non-Jewish king, but even that king was out of touch. He was asleep. Not just Achashverosh, but a sleeping non-Jewish king. On the level of the inner secrets of Torah, the king represents Hashem. He's the king of the world. But when we're in exile, Hashem's presence goes with us, the Shekhinah goes with us into exile, but he works through a non-Jewish king. When we were in Egypt, he worked through Paro. When we were by Achashverosh, he worked for Achashverosh. The king, Hashem, goes into exile, the king of the universe, together with the Jewish people. At that time, the first temple had been destroyed. The Jews were in exile. They were in a dark exile. They were so dark that they were enjoying the exile. They had a good life. They had plenty of money. They had political connections. Everything was wonderful. There was only a few Jews among those Hebrews, like Mordechai HaYehudi, Mordechai the Jew, who retained their loyalty to Hashem's Torah. It was so dark, they didn't even feel the exile. That's what it says. On that night, in the time when they were comfortable in their exile. The king was asleep. That's the exile. The king is asleep. We're not connected to Hashem. It has to be through a non-Jewish king. And exile is called a dream. Everything is upside down in a dream. A non-Jew rules over the Jews. It's the opposite of what's real. Hashem makes himself as if he's asleep. So when Hashem is asleep, dreams are manifest. Seemingly, Haman can best Mordechai. But when the king awakes and the book of days is read to him, and on the level of the godly king, the book of days indicates that Hashem reconnects himself to space and time. When he was, quote, asleep, he was higher than being connected to space and time, a level of dreams. But when he wakes and they read him the book of days, he connects to space and time. Hashem in himself is exalted from space and time. He's way higher than space and time. But they read him, when he wakes up, they read him the book of days. And in the book of days, when Hashem is connected to space and time, Hashem was king, he is king, and he will be king all at once. And it's revealed to his consciousness that the Jews will stand for a whole year to give up their lives if they would have given up being Jewish, severed their connection to Hashem, then they wouldn't be in any danger. They wouldn't have been in danger of losing their lives. They wouldn't have been in danger of losing their money. And in spite of the fact there was a decree of certain death, they would not give up their connection to Hashem. And when that level of their hidden connection to Hashem, even in the face of death, was revealed, we don't know and we don't care for the consequences. We're Jews and we're Hashem's people. And we're going to die. They're going to take our money and all the bad things that can happen. We are not cutting ourselves off from Hashem. And that level of not knowing was revealed by Hashem. So even on that night, in the dark colors, the king awakened. Hashem got up. And that connection is eternal and essential. So even though he made himself like he was asleep, in other words, I don't know or care what happens. Mordechai and Haman are equal. Yaakov and Esav are brothers. But when that unshakable bond was revealed by the Jewish people, it became revealed by Hashem that even though Yaakov and Esav are brothers, Hashem chooses Yaakov. Hashem comes down into time, symbolized by the book of days that they read to Ahasuerus, and revealed the past, present, and future. So even way before the year was out, he saw their resolve not to sunder their connection to him, even at the cost of life itself. He woke from his dream of Gullus. Hashem woke from his dream. He saw that Mordechai had saved his life. That's Ahasuerus. Mordechai saved Ahasuerus' life. In the history of the kingdom, it was revealed from assassination. And on the supernal level of Hashem, that Mordechai had saved his people from assimilation through gathering 22,000 students to learn Torah at the danger of life. Therefore, the earthly king, Ahasuerus, chooses to honor Mordechai. And that was the beginning of Haman's downfall. Everything was turned upside down. Until then, there was a decree all the Jews, men, women, and children, be killed in one day. All of a sudden, King Ahasuerus woke up, and it was the start of the downfall of Haman. But the question still stands. What big miracle? So the king woke up. Where's the miracle? The beginning of the answer, because when Hashem withdraws from the level of being connected to space and time, the king is asleep. There's no difference between good and bad, between cursed Haman and blessed Mordechai. The difference between Haman and Mordechai is not recognized. That's the level of not known. That's the level of Purim. And to get the actual answer of what the big miracle was, we're going to focus the microscope to look at the details a little bit. It says on that night, the king woke up. So we're going to understand what that night, Laila Hahu, in that exile, they were comfortable. As opposed to this night. This night was the night of the Seder in Egypt before they went out of Egypt. It was still exile, but they knew they were in exile. They knew they were stuck in Egypt. But over here, the Jews didn't even know they were in exile. They thought everything was great. They went to the feast of Ahasuerus and had a big party there. In general, day indicates light and revelation, while night indicates dark and non-revelation. And each of that revelation and non-revelation have two levels. There is this day, this revelation, which is a complete revelation, like it says, they went out from Egypt in the brightness, Hayom Hazeh, of this day. That day, on the other hand, is not revealed. It's a level of revelation, but it's still hidden. But when Mashiach comes, then that day will be drawn into this world and will be called that day Yom Hahu. This night is the darkness of exile, but it's realized as exile with faith and a sure redemption. That night, on the other hand, is complete darkness. They didn't even realize they were in exile. They thought everything was fine. So in the redemption on Pesach, it was on this day that the hosts of Hashem went out of Egypt. Also, when we got the Torah, it says, know this day, the Havai is Elohim, in the heavens above and the earth below. This night is faith, strong and realized. Like on this night, like it says, why is this night different from all other nights? Even though it's a night, even though it's exile, we know that the redemption is coming. Faith in the truth of Hashem's salvation. And that made the redemption, even though they were still in exile that night, they're in Egypt, palpable. That's what it says, this night. It was still night, they were still in exile, but they realized it. But concerning the future redemption, the one that we're coming up on, it says on that day will be a revelation, but not now. It's hidden now. It's a revelation of day, but that day, not this day. Because the redemption of Pesach is a revelation of light that is drawn down here and now. Yom Zeh, how is this night different, this night, from other nights? And this day is the day they went out from Pesach. But the future redemption, the essence of the light, higher than revelation now, is called that day. This night, a level higher than be able to be revealed. They are still in exile, but it is still connected to revelation. Hashem says, tomorrow I'm getting you out. When they made the Seder in Egypt, it was still night, it was still exile, but for sure they knew they were getting out the next day, and that's why it's called this night. But there's a higher and more essential level of divine hiddenness, which is not able to manifest as revealable at all. The dark is not even recognized as dark. It's an essential hiddenness of godliness. That night, it's not even recognized as night. It's not even recognized as exile. That's what it means. The king was asleep. So the main miracle was that Hashem, through the person of Achashverosh, was awakened from divine essential hiddenness, a level impossible to reveal. The decree against the Jews was sealed. It couldn't be changed. The king made that decree. That night, complete darkness. They couldn't even have faith that Hashem would save them. But in that complete hiddenness, they would not sever their connection to Hashem. They were content. They went to the feast and the party that Achashverosh made. They were happy there and they were having a good time at that feast. They didn't realize they were separating themselves from Hashem by partying with the idol worship and reveling at the king's feast. They thought they could stay Jews. They could stay connected to Hashem. After all, they were allowed to choose kosher wine and food. Nevertheless, on that night, at a time when they didn't even know that they were in exile, the miracle occurred. The king of the world awakened. He saw the Jews would stand fast, not giving up their connection to him, even in the face of certain death. But the question still stands. What caused the king to awaken? You guys have a nigga? I can't hear you at all. Are you completely muted? What's going on? Mendel, do you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. We're muted.
Okay. Now I hear you. Before I couldn't hear you. Do you guys have a nigga?
Yeah, we do.
Good. Hit it.
Let's do it. Ready?
I was just going to drink straight from the bottom.
All right, here we go. Ready, more. Hey, all right, did it, all right, did it, all right, did it, all right, did it, all right. Hey, did it, all right, did it, all right, did it, all right. Hey, hey.
Very nice. I would still like to hear a take it away Labe shot in the middle of the thing.
Labe,
However,
take
hey,
it.
look who it is.
You want me to take it?
Put it on the table, Labe. Okay?
Listen, Gimel Aleph, I want to tell you that we have a special guest tonight. And we're talking about when the Jews were in exile and they had a non-Jewish king. But our special guest is going to tell us about Jewish royalty, which is the start of the line of Jewish kings, which has nothing to do with exile, which has to do with Mashiach, David, Malcha Mashiach. Are you ready to speak to us? Mendel, what's his name, the guy?
Yishai. Yishai is ready.
Yishai, you ready? Give him the lapel mic. Give him the lapel mic, hello?
No, here, let's do the open here. You turn this. Give a test. Hello. You can hear B'Tzalel.
Yeah, I can hear it. Yishai, hit it.
Okay, so Baruch Hashem. We're going to talk today about David HaMelech, David Melech Yisrael Chai V'Kayam.
Bring the mic closer to him.
Here, move this whole thing here.
About David HaMelech and about the place where he's buried. So I live in Yerushalayim HaKodesh, and I have the schus to daven every Shabbos by the Kever David HaMelech. I'm about Koila over there, and very, very close to the whole situation over there. And Kever David, you have to know that it's not only David HaMelech is there. By the way, David HaMelech is not buried in the ground. He's in a coffin, in a box.
Above ground.
Above ground, exactly. And as opposed to Chizkiah HaMelech and Shlomo HaMelech and all the other Malchei Beis David, the tzaddikim, they're buried in the ground. Yeah. So before the state of Israel came around, so there were no doubts that that's the place. It's probably not exactly where the Tzion is, right? But it's definitely there in Har Tzion, 80 meters that way, 80 meters the other way. But it's there. That's the place. We have proof from Talmud of the Ramban, who was in Eretz Israel, and also Binyamin Matudela, which came also for Torah Israel hundreds of years ago. And we have a lot of tzaddikim, and Maram Chagiz said the name of the Arizal, that the Arizal was outside Yerushalayim, and he pointed towards that direction. He said that's where the Kilo Malchav is David. So it's a very, very special place. Now we have to know another thing about this place. B'ezrat Hashem, you're all going to be in Eretz Israel.
Amen.
Amen. To be there. So, what is this building? If you come and you look at the building of the where the Tzion is, it's very interesting. Up to about 2 meters, which is about 6 feet. It's the stone is stone from the time of Beis Hamikdash. You can see it the same stone as the Kotel HaMaravi, as the Western Wall. And after that, the wall itself, the continuation of the wall and the roof is small stones from 500 years ago. 500 years ago, who was the ruling in Eretz Israel? The Turks, the Ottomanim. Right? They were ruling in Eretz Israel, and they made the town. And up to the 2 meters is the time from David HaMelech. What was there where the Tzion is? What was there for 42 years? A little bit even before that. The Aron HaKodesh went at the time of the war, went to the Plishtim, and it was for a few years it was by the Plishtim, and then it came back to Beit Shemesh, the whole story in the Navi over there, and then the story with Uzziah that he touched the Aron, the ark, and he died. He thought it's fallen, wanted to help it, but he touched it and then he died. And then the Aron was by someone, I forgot the name. It was by another person, and Hashem blessed the person. He had boys and girls because the Aron was by him. And then David HaMelech was not David. I forgot the name. Right, I forgot the name. And then David HaMelech decided he wanted to build Beis Hamikdash, but Hashem told him, "You killed too many people. You're not allowed to build Beis Hamikdash." But David HaMelech, nevertheless, he brought the Aron HaKodesh to Yerushalayim. And where did he put it? He said they put it in the oil. That's where it was before he brought it to Yerushalayim. And then he brought it to Yerushalayim, and he put it there in this building. And that's why it's built up to 2 meters, because you're not allowed to put it in the house. It has to be in oil. And after those 2 meters, they put tarp on top. They put Yeriot oil in order for something to be there. And they did korbanot over there. For 42 years, the Aron HaKodesh was in this place where I Baruch Hashem every Shabbos I daven. And also there's a famous story about there were 2 painters over 100 years ago, 120 years ago, that they were working there, but under where the Tzion is, there's halls, beautiful halls with paintings and psifas. How do you say psifas? Mosaics and gorgeous stuff. And they went in there to fix it up, and there were guards, Arab guards there, that they don't go too much into the tunnels. And they were there. And one day they told the guards, "You can go, we're good, we're okay." And the guards left, and they went in, and they saw the Tzionim. They saw it's only 120 years ago, they saw the coffin of David HaMelech. How do you know it's David HaMelech? Because it has on it the big sword, the sword of Goliath, like the pasuk says. And they saw the kever of Chizkiah. How do you know what Chizkiah is? Because it says in the pasuk that they put a Sefer Torah on it, because he was a big Torah scholar, right? And they saw the other kvarim. And then they went out, and they went to the Mario Diskin from Greece, and they went to Chutz La'aretz, and they gave a testament that's what they saw. And Mario Diskin said that anyone, I'm going to end with this part, that Mario Diskin said that anyone who denies that this is Kilo Malchav David, who Rosha, Shoite, Vegas Ruach, he's preventing Eden from serving Hashem. People come and they have all kinds of questions about the place. Now I'm going to get to today's story. 2002, there was a group of people in Yerushalayim HaKodesh. Could you get my bag, please, over there? There was a group of people in Yerushalayim HaKodesh. Yeah, that they were very, very, very strong about the Kever David HaMelech. And they decided that they want to make a kollel over there. And they started the kollel Chatzois. Kollel Chatzois meaning they come at midnight, they come at 1:30. It's still today. And they have pictures over here. People on the video can't see it, but the guys here can see it afterwards. Pictures. They come every night to Chatzois. They learn. They do Izbadidus, most of them. And and in the morning, right before the davening, they have a special tefillah for Klal Yisrael with blowing shofars every morning. Very, very strong. And besides that, there's a mishmarot, there's a how do you say mishmarot, shifts of
Like shifts of
Tehillim,
people, yeah.
are 24 hours, like Kever David. So 2002 they decided to come, Tavshin Samach Beis. A few months after they came, they found out something very, very, very interesting, and we see that we think that we're doing things, but the tzaddikim, they take care of themselves well. The state of Israel decided to give a gift to the Vatican in Rome. The gift will be Kever David HaMelech, to give it to the Christians. It's a fact. Yeah.
This was 2002?
Yes. And because these Avrechim came there, and they started to take upon this place and make it alive and make it hidden. It was people didn't go to Kever David hardly.
Like send his
No. Give a key to the
just the key.
that they will be in charge of it. That's
In other words, it's going to be under their
under their control.
under their authority. Under the
No. About the place itself. Until today, they come once the Greeks come and they do all kinds of Avodah and there's
They still do it now?
yeah, and we do a lot of, and before COVID, there were 2 million, every year 2 million Christians, like crusade type of coming and.
See, but now there's COVID. The COVID has been restored.
COVID is saying COVID of the Baruch Hu. And
Kvod Hashem. V'nirad Kvod Hashem. V'nigla Kvod Hashem.
Who's the prime minister there?
The same prime minister, the Netanyahu.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyways, right. So Baruch Hashem, that's the Kever David, very close to my heart, very close to every heart.
So that's why it didn't happen. It was because there was
right, because the Avrechim are there. We're fighting very strong. We're there. Also, Rav Shalom Arush, people, he's famous. He's very strong with it, and Bishomai Morgenstern is very, very strong about this Kever David to be. Rav Moshe Feinsatzal was very, very strong about holding the place.
Okay, Yishai, thank you.
Yeah.
If you want to finish up, we'll leave you some time later. Okay?
1 second and find the final.
Final line, Betzalel, okay?
Yeah.
Final line. So Bezrat Hashem, by Kever David, we have this stuff going on. And anyone, Tavresh Chavtes, the Ben Ishchai was there, and he made a special tefillah, Kum David Malkum Meshicha, that David HaMelech is there, he's praying for Klal Yisrael. And who doesn't want to be part of praying for Klal Yisrael and for David HaMelech, the Mashiach will come. So Bezrat Hashem, anyone who wants to be part of this and donate for the Koilel of David HaMelech. So I'm here in Pittsburgh for a while.
Is there, wait, but this thing doesn't go just to Pittsburgh, it goes all over. Is there a website for this?
Is there a website? Is there, I don't know if there's a website. But I'm here in Pittsburgh, and the guy can contact with Betzalel. It's 100% stuff. I don't take money for myself. I'm here on other reasons. So Bezrat Hashem, you could be zeich to be part of this, and you give me your names, and I'll send it over to the people that are right now there, and we can pray for
We have to make a website.
the people. Bezrat Hashem, we'll make a website as well.
If there's no website, then that's something to talk about. Shkeya.
David
Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, V'Kayam. Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai. Hey, David Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, V'Kayam. David Melech Yisrael, Chai, Chai, V'Kayam. So like this.
Ellen,
When I was a kid,
were you around then when David gathered the stuff?
when I was a kid, right, that was me and Adam Arishan, we used to sing, because we was both kids, we sang, Chai, Chai, Pizza Pie.
Were you around when David HaMelech was gathering?
Oh, but Samuel, I was there, you know. I was there, you know. In fact, I was painting inside the David in Migdal David. There was, you know, there was one part that the paint was there. It was, you know, the sun was boiling over there.
That's how you got a beret. You were painting over there.
Yeah, I was painting there. You know, I didn't know so much what was going on because I had my whole eyeballs was in the walls. I was, you know, but just to be in that avira was already something.
Your eyes were in your head. Your eyes were in your head. I get it.
Yeah, they're still in my head, I think. And my eyes in my head laid.
Okay. So we talked about 4 levels so far. We talked about this day. We talked about that day. You see, this means something that's here and manifest. That means something that's far away. So this day is revelation now. That day is revelation in sometime in the future. This night, even though it's exile, is close to redemption. That night is completely far away. We don't even know we're in exile. And these four levels can be understood in the infinite light before the first contraction. First, there was only Hashem and his name. And his name was the infinite light that spread out every place and filled up the whole place of the world. So in order to have a revelation that we could be able to connect to Hashem, Hashem had to take away the infinite light because we couldn't exist. It was infinite light. We wouldn't be able to exist. So Hashem took away that infinite light. But we can understand those four levels, how they are in the infinite light before that contraction. Looking from our level up, we can get a realization of Hashem's greatness in the creation by contemplating the vast multiplicity of the universe, from the molecules to the stars to the plants and moving creatures and those that speak. And that coupled with its perfectly choreographed symmetry and the fact that everything is animated, everything is alive, and nothing makes itself. It comes from a non-apprehended level called nothing. Think about your soul. You know you have a soul, you know you're alive, but you have any idea what it is? And that physical life that we're describing is incomparable to spiritual life and spiritual existence, like it is in the upper worlds. And those creatures in the upper worlds appear to be separate from Hashem, meaning the angels and the disembodied souls that don't have bodies, they're just souls by themselves. And all of that cannot be compared to the recondite levels of infinite godly level of Atzilus, which itself is only a manifestation of Hashem's desire to have worlds. And that desire is only manifest through the outer aspects of the Ancient of Days, which those outer aspects of the Ancient of Days are only an outer manifestation of the head that is not known, and even higher to the line of infinite light, which all that is included in a mere dot. All that is included in a dot compared to Hashem. And that dot is called the impression, and it's the impression from before the light was taken away. And that dot includes and hides the whole infinite light from before that contraction. And that hiding of the infinite light allows for the spiritual or physical or even supernal existence. So to explain and understand those levels which are higher than that dot, the levels which are higher than the contraction, is a wonderful, is quite wonderful. And it's accomplished by Hasidus in general, and in this instance, by our Rebbe in particular. We can connect the two levels of dark. Remember we said there's this night and there's that night, two levels of dark. All the way up to the original contraction. That's night, that's dark, that's hiding, the contraction of the infinite light. It is the first manifestation of dark. There's no infinite light there. It's the origin of dark and hiding. How do you like this, Morty, Schneider's brother? In that Tzimtzum, in that contraction, there he is. In that contraction, there's two levels. One, the light is taken away in order that later on a light can be revealed from before the contraction. The reason for the contraction, so a light of godliness could be revealed to us. That's called this night. Halayla Hazeh. That hiding is connected to revelation. And it manifests here in a way that we realize it's night. We realize there's a hiding of godliness. We realize we're in exile. And that is the lower level of the godly intention of hiding the light. That's called this night. We realize we're in exile, like the night before we left Egypt. But how it is manifest down here this night is a higher level. It's a level where we have strong faith that we're going to get out, like on the night of Pesach. The higher level of hiding is the essential hiddenness of Hashem that can't be revealed at all. It's removed from any possibility of revelation. It's not connected to revelation. It's called that night. The night that is completely hidden. God is completely hidden and can't be revealed. When these two levels are manifest in our world, they're turned over. That's like Purim. Everything is turned over. The higher one, the essential hiddenness of Hashem, that night, is revealed as a lower level. And the hiddenness, which is in order to finally reveal, which is a lower level, this night, in our world, is revealed as a higher level. They come down opposite of the way they are in their source. The realization that we're in exile this night, which is lower up there, is higher here. That night, which is higher up there, the complete hiddenness of godliness, comes lower down here. We don't even realize we're in exile. And that is the miracle that the sleep of the king was disturbed on that night in such a low level that Hashem can't be revealed at all. The sleep of the king that night, Halaylahu, is the unrevealable, essential hiddenness of Hashem. Not just Achashverosh is king over us, but even that king is asleep. He's not engaged at all. We can't access him at all. And that's the essential hiddenness of Hashem. After all, they participated in the feast of Achashverosh and Haman by going to that party. That's the higher hiding. Godliness is not revealed at all, even to those Jews. But since the Jews stood with Mesiras Nefesh, they stood even though their lives are forfeit. For that whole year, the king was awakened. There was unrevealable hiddenness. The decree was sealed. They had no way out. If they didn't give up their connection to God, they were going to die. And they didn't care. They didn't know. We don't know and we don't care. We're staying connected to God. They stayed Jews in the face of certain death. That night, there was no way they could be redeemed. They didn't think Hashem would save them. But the inner Jew came out. They wouldn't give up their Jewish connection to Hashem. And therefore, the king was awakened. The essential hidden level of Hashem was revealed in the person of an awakened king, Achashverosh. Hashem is completely hidden on that level. In the Megillah, in the letter that Esther sent, Hashem is not called by a name at all. There's no revelation of God in that story at all. It's the essential hiddenness of Hashem. Like in Moda'ani, there's no names of God there. So the higher night, that night, the essential hiddenness of Hashem became revealed in the lower level. That night down here, the king was awakened. And Haman's downfall started. Up to then, Haman was on the ascent. All of a sudden, the king awakened, and Haman's downfall started. The earthly king, that night, the sleeping king, brought about the sleep of the king, not only was working through Achashverosh, the king sleeps on that night, but the miracle, what was the big miracle, to answer the question, is the awakening from essential hiddenness. How Hashem is essentially hidden. He can't be accessed at all. He in himself is a hidden level. God cannot be revealed. That night. But his awakening was brought about by a level which is even higher than the essential hiddenness of Hashem. It's a level where hidden and revealed are equal. Hashem himself is higher than hidden and revealed. And that was the miracle, that level that's higher than hidden and revealed was able to reveal the absolute hidden level of Hashem. The king awakened. And it was from this higher level that's higher than night and day and higher than completely hidden and completely revealed. The night stayed night. It was that night, and it was still King Achashverosh who was over us. But it started the downfall of Haman. And it's Hashem himself that's that level that's higher than hiddenness and revelation. And that's what caused the complete hiddenness of Hashem to be revealed. Hashem himself is higher than his power of revelation and his power of infinite holding back. His power of day and his power of night. He's higher than both. Therefore, it still stayed night. We were still under Achashverosh on that night. But Achashverosh woke up and he heard the book of days and he heard that Mordecai had saved his life and he decided to honor Mordecai. And the king awoke. Why? Because we stood in danger of our lives for a whole year. We thought we would be killed by not giving up our Jewish connection to Hashem. And that caused the king to awaken, to reveal what's impossible to reveal. The decree was sealed. But once the king woke up, there was a revelation of godliness that would save us. We revealed our essential connection to Hashem, and through our revealing our essential connection to him, his essential connection to us was revealed. The king woke up. How? Through the personage of Achashverosh. He remained king, and that level of godly hiddenness was still in play. It was Achashverosh was our king. God was hidden. But the absolute hiddenness of godliness was revealed. Hashem turned over the decree that couldn't be turned over. Through this level that's higher than hidden and revelation altogether. Like the name, the Megillah Esther. The name Megillah could be read from the Hebrew word mean revealed, Giloi. And Esther could be revealed through the Hebrew word to be hidden. So the Megillah Esther is a revelation of a hidden thing. It's higher than both. It's higher than names. Hashem's names are not in the Megillah. And it's higher than both curse Haman and bless Mordechai. Like the Mittler Rebbe brought a metaphor that when an antelope sleeps, he sleeps with one eye open and one eye closed. Revelation is the open eye. The king wakes up. But it wasn't Hashem, it was Achashverosh. One eye is closed. So we see the revelation of hidden and revealed there in that thing where the king woke up. But it's Hashem himself. It's higher than revelation of hiding altogether, and it connects both, and there's no difference between bless Mordechai and curse Haman. So even though Hashem is still hidden, there's no mention of Hashem in the Purim story, but we can understand that he's winking at us. One eye is open, one eye is closed. But soon, both eyes will open, and we will see him eye to eye. Vivant Mashiach now. You guys have a song to take us out? Do we have a niggun to go out with? Wade, can you hear me? Mendel, unmute yourself, Mendel.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm niggin.
A niggun, please. A nice, good.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Ready? Here we go. More. Get on the drums.
Morty, hit them cymbals, baby.
I was on Menzari, was Menzari, I got it at the start. Let's make it look as I don't say no there. I can't make it, I can't make it. I was on Menzari, was Menzari, I said, I got it at the start. Let's make it look as I don't say no there. I can't make it, I can't make it.
Okay, now we're gonna have our sign-off tune. Cause
Time out. Time out.
Yeah.
I want to make an appeal.
Okay, hit it, Kimmel.
Okay, well,
I was gonna make an appeal.
The Rebbe spoke in Tov Shin Mem Zayin. And the Rebbe spoke on the Sicha on Purim. And he told us that the time of Mashiach is not something from a book. It is a reality that we are facing. Not a bad one, it's a very good one. But this is something real. And so this is something that we all need to be prepared for. Every man, woman, and child needs to learn about Mashiach and learn what this means Mashiach is coming and learn the laws concerning Mashiach. That's right, Hoishi, I said concerning. And concerning Mashiach, every man, woman, and child, because we are the ones with one action, with one word, with one thought, we can bring Mashiach right now. And the Rebbe also said it's not just for Jews. This is for the whole world. For every, that if we care about another human being, we need to tell them that they should make the world a better place by keeping the 7 Noahide laws. And by doing this, they can bring the Eibishter into this world, and they can be everybody part of this great thing that's happening right now, literally. That's all I gotta say, B'Tzalel. I was there, you know.
Not bad. Very well done. Good.
All right.
Good kazut.
Here we
Okay,
go.
now we're gonna have our.
Wait, what's the tune? No, that's not. What's that?
Gezintahait. We want Mashiach now.
All right, it's a wrap, boys.